First tree, Nissa Vaspatseer, Hangerback Walker, Death Misraptor, Den Protector, Wingmate Rock, Hidden Dragon Slayer, 4 copies of Gideon, Ally Zendikar, 3 Valor Sands, 4 Dromoka's Command.
This is the card I've wanted to see. This is the card that people have been talking about. It is Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, and just how dominant it can be. And we'll see if Nathan Allen's deck can handle it as we're underway here in game number 1 of round number 3. Both players starting off with Battle Lands, Allen with a Flooded Strand as his second land. We'll see if Majors can get to the board on turn number 2. He can with a Hangerback Walker.
And of all of the SCG writers, Majors, you know, his article talking about this is what I expect to be going on, these are the decks that I like to test. He was the most, you know, for Hangerback Walker in most lists of any of the writers that I saw on the site. So not surprising to see Majors start off here with a turn 2 Hangerback Walker.
We'll see what land Allen's going to search up here with the Flooded Strand as he goes down to 19. He is digging through that Esper deck. There we go. There's the basic planes.
The issue here and why the fetching is so complicated is because in most decks, you would just say, go get a dual land and put it into play tapped. Easy enough. But there is an incentive here on some of these early turns to be fetching out basic lands so that your battle lands down the road come into play untapped.
Yep.
So it's pretty complicated. It's very easy to say, okay, why don't you just get a Prairie Stream and be done with it? Then you have double blue and you have access to white mana as well. But Nathan would like to be able to sequence his lands in such a way that his battle lands down the line are all coming to play untapped.
Well, he's got an island now, so he's got 2 basics for battle lands, the end of the battlefield on tap moving forward. Major's going to come across here for 1 with the Hangerback Walker. Let's see what the follow-up is. It's a morph. Could be anything.
Could be anything.
Most likely a Den Protector or Death Misraptor, but could be anything. You know, I can't wait when the could be anything. Oh, well, that's, ouch. Clash Will is going to counter a Death Misraptor. Yikes. But eventually people are going to work their way towards Saga Mauler. Yep. I promise you. And the could be anything joke is not going to be funny at all. Because then they're just going to take 6.
It's going to be funny for one person.
That's true. Shambling Vent is the land there for Allen.
But really solid sequencing there from Majors. I think he felt extremely likely that Allen has a counter spell. If he casts any spell that turn, it's likely to get countered. So put the Death Misraptor face down. So that way it goes to the graveyard. If you cast it face up, it might not get countered.
An attempted Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, will get countered, which is pretty important there for Nathan. Cannot let that thing resolve. Scatter to the Winds was the counter spell. The brand new Dissolve, some people are calling it. It's just a brand new 3-mana counter spell, however.
That's the one with Awaken 3 for 6 mana.
Correct.
You had that card name just like, that was just there.
I'm on it now. I'm awake. I can't say I had my coffee because I don't drink that.
Yeah.
I'm just moving and grooving now.
Fumbled around some dual lands there early on, but now in the driver's seat, Scatter the Wind's just on the tip of the tongue.
See how Majors wants to sequence now. Gonna play a Flooded Strand. Now another Gideon. Put you to the test. Another Scatter to the Winds. It's a must counter threat. Majors will leave Hangerback Walker back on defense because he wants to charge it up.
Though if that is Major's plan, I'm interested as to why he didn't just sack the Flood Strand straight away and do it. He's opening himself up for a window here for Allen to be able to kill this in response to the fetch land activation. Typically, I just like doing it on your own turn.
Get it out of the way.
Just, you know you're going to do it, so don't allow Allen to respawn and kill your Hangerback Walker and make you down a token.
Major's going to search up a Canopy Vista with the Flooded Strand. Hangerback Walker is a 2/2 now. And now it's time for him to draw. So we have not seen Gideon actually resolve just yet, but I imagine if it does, Mr. Allen is in some trouble. However, Nathan is doing a nice job this game. 5 lands, all spells in hand. Got a copy of Dig Through Time, Languish in the Grip. Major's going to come across for 2 here.
But Majors is well situated to play an attrition game here. He's got a Hangerback Walker in play, a Death Misraptor in the graveyard. As long as he can keep producing threats, requires a lot of answers here from Allen.
He's producing threats, but Nathan Allen does have the answers. Oceanide's Command is going to counter the Hangerback Walker and allow Nathan to draw a card. So he'll untap those 4 lands. Along with the Shambling Vent, 5 lands on the battlefield for him. Dig Through Time to draw. Doesn't find a land, but again, his hand is very powerful at this point.
A lot of the elements of Major's deck here seem inspired by Brian Kibler's green-white deck from the Pro Tour and then the one that he played at Grand Prix San Diego. A lot of people had success with that deck there. And that's not surprising to me because one of the major weaknesses of Kibler's green-white deck was Elspeth, Sun's Champion, no longer legal. So if most of the cards are still there and public enemy number 1 for you is no longer in the format, it seems reasonable to try it week 1.
Looks like Alan considering a dig through time here. Does have double blue, plenty of cards in the graveyard. So here is dig through time. He'll have to delve away 3 cards. As he takes a look at the top 7 and selects 2 cards, take a look at Nathan's deck list. 3 copies of Jace, Friend's Prodigy, 2 Fathom Feeders, a Solemgar, the Drifting Death. Got a Planner Outburst hanging out here. Quite a few counter spells. 4 Clash of Wills, 2 Scatter the Winds, some Planeswalkers and Gideon Ala Zendikar, Narset Transcendent, Sorin Solemn Visitor.
He is demanding a lot of his mana base. There is double blue, double white, double black hanging out here.
You know, what you'll find here, his deck list looks very reminiscent of what Shaheen Sarani actually wrote about, the Esper Master, of course. Shaheen, of course, working on this color combination. Really happy with where he's at with it right now. Likes the mana base, likes the Planeswalkers.
A lot of good threats to tap out for, too.
Yeah.
Obnixilis seems like a card right out of the Shaheen playbook.
Oh, yeah. Tap 5 mana, kill your creature, start drawing cards. Shaheen may have designed that one. Windswept Heath are going to search up a land. Alan didn't have a land to play from dig through time, which means his hand is fully gassed up. Major's going to draw. Come across here with the Hangerback Walker. Alan has a copy of Utter End, however. Now, this is a card in Utter End that I think is going to be really good.
I think so, too. You know, Hangerback Walker, Dem Protector, various dragons alongside Haven of the Spirit Dragon. A lot of incentives to be exiling right now.
Got a morph here from Majors. Yeah, Utter End, is it expensive? Absolutely it is, but the format seems a little bit slower.
It just depends on how much of the Atarka's command decks are hanging out.
Yeah.
You can't really afford a main deck Utter End. You need cheaper removal if that deck is popular. But if people are playing decks like what Majors is playing here, where he's an aggressive deck, but he's not, you know, breaking any land speed records with what he's doing, you can afford to play removal spells like Utter End, and exiling is a nice angle to have right now.
Now, you mentioned the rotation of Elspeth. You know, in the previous standard format, right now we'd have kind of this tension where Major's just trying to get across the finish line before the opponent taps 6 mana and plays Elspeth. That doesn't happen anymore.
No.
So the stabilization process for an Esper control deck or any blue-based control deck is a little bit different now.
Especially against these green decks where you have Dem Protector, Death Misraptor, Hangerback Walker. These are all cards that require several removal spells to contain. And it's not easy to shut these threats down with one sweeper or one good blocker, you know. Elspeth was a unique case because it could just generate a stream of blockers every single turn. You didn't have to worry about the card advantage angle of those kind of threats because you could invalidate them as attackers. But now without Elspeth, you got to try to wear these down one by one, and that's not easy to do.
Den Protector is going to unmegamorph. It'll get a counter, of course, become a 3/2. Death Misraptor will come back, given the trigger. It looks like Majors wants to take it face up. And Gideon is returned from the Den Protector. Now, as we mentioned, Alan, his hand is full of spells. We know that because he hasn't been hitting land drops. He just hit one last turn. And it looks like Majors wants to take Death Misraptor back face down instead of face up. But this is kind of the resiliency that you mentioned from the green-white aggro deck with this kind of engine along with Hangerback Walker. Been a little while since we've seen this engine. Death Misraptor really fell off a cliff there at the end of the last standard format.
Right. And I don't know if Major's deck is necessarily good, but I do appreciate the logic of trying this week 1.
Yeah.
You have all the same tools that you had before. This deck lost very little on rotation. The mana is probably better on the balance. Not that the mana was bad before, but it's probably improved a little bit. And not having to play against Elspeth is a huge deal.
Here's Hangerback Walker on 2. Love the way Majors is playing this turn. Could have cast Hangerback Walker on 2. You got an answer to that? Okay, I'll resolve Gideon. I could have cast it for more, but I want to be able to present both threats.
This also means that this Hangerback Walker cannot be hit by Clash of Wills.
Very important as well.
I'm not sure if Major's going to follow up with the Gideon necessarily, but
Does have a land in hand. It's going to play that. That'll give him the ability to unmorph that Deathness Raptor. 4 mana, another copy of Dig Through Time here for Nathan Allen. So he's going to take a look at the top 7 again, take 2 with him. As far as mass removal is concerned, Planner Outburst is an option here. You also find 3 copies of Languish in the deck.
And I think that Major's plan here is don't cast the Gideon into a potential counterspell. With the 5 mana left over, he can unmorph the Deathness Raptor. So it's not like his mana is totally wasted.
Yep. The kind of aggro decks I like, I always have, just aggro decks that are good early and good late.
It's very important when you're playing a deck like this green-white deck that doesn't have a lot of reach, that you can't allow you got to make your control opponent play off balance a little bit. If you let them run their mana into your mana every single turn, they're going to beat you eventually because their cards are a lot more powerful. So you got to find ways to make it so, you know, their counter spells are inefficient, that certain cards are dead. That's the way you got to play it.
Here's Languish. That'll take care of everything. Hangerback Walker will spit out 2 Thopters. And Major's just kind of demonstrating the resiliency of his deck right now. And still with something left behind.
And Allen here with no blue mana available. So Gideon is eligible to resolve next turn.
Indeed. Majors will untap and take a draw step here. Step 1, Thopter beatdowns. Allen will fall down to 8. The follow-up looks to be the ally of Zendikar. So Gideon has made its debut. Starts on 4. See how Majors wants to use it. Looks like he's probably going to push the 0 button. All buttons are good on this thing, though.
And this is another place where you're going to feel the difference between Ruinous Path and Hero's Downfall.
Oh, yeah.
Allen had 3 mana that he just did not get to use while he's under the gun a little bit here. And if he untaps and plays Ruinous Path, well, now he's down 3 mana this turn. Instant versus sorcery, a huge deal in certain spots.
And there's your 2/2 White Knight ally creature. Ruinous Path is an answer, but it's a world of difference between that and Hero's Downfall. Looks like that's where Allen will start. Is the follow-up a Languish? It is, so he's able to clear everything away. Major's going to take a draw step here. Looks like he picked up another copy of Hangerback Walker. Michael going to sacrifice Windswept Heath.
Shields are down, so might as well do this for the full amount.
Yeah, it's going to be a 5/5. Pretty big creature. You think about the way this game has gone for Michael Majors. He's drawn 10 land this game, and he's still right in it. You can't say that for many green-white decks.
Yeah, and you know, these green-white decks, most of the decks that Kibler builds, they're aggressive decks that do have some staying power.
Yeah. There's an island. Here is Utterin. I'll take care of that again. Utterin showing its ability to be quite good in this format. Allen's follow-up is his own Gideon. So the tables have turned here. There's a token, pass the turn back. Now Majors might be in some trouble.
Den Protector still gives him a shot here. You know, he can rebuild.
Oh, he does play a morph off the top of the deck.
But I feel like that almost can't be Den Protector because Major would have done something straight away with it.
Yeah.
Could be Hidden Dragon Slayer. Could definitely be Deathness Raptor.
Yeah.
But I do not think it's Den Protector.
Ob Nixilis in hand here for Nathan Allen as well. Looks like Gideon is moving on up. It's time for beatdowns, it appears. It'll become a 5/5 human soldier ally creature with indestructible. That's still a planeswalker. There is Deathness Raptor. It'll get a counter from Unmegamorph. Deathness Raptor going to jump in front of a token. Gideon gets to come across. Majors will take 5. The Megamorph engine giving Majors some resiliency here. The follow-up is a Sorin. That's going to tick down to 2. There will be a Vampire token on the way. Maybe a missequence there?
Well, I think that to me, it's just so likely that it's Death Misraptor down. I think there's probably a better way to sequence all of this. Not that this is the end of the world. I mean, Alan's got a lot of resources left over to work with here, but I think the attack there with the token was needlessly aggressive.
Well, Major's with a 4/4 out there. Looks as though he's drawn a spell.
The attack with the token is only good if the morph down there is Den Protector. And I think it's just very unlikely that it's Den Protector because Majors would have done more on his own turn.
Dromoka's command off the top of the deck. Let's see what Majors wants to attack here. Looks like he's going to go with Gideon.
This is all well and good here, but Obnixilis is going to be a lot for Majors to try to overcome here.
There's also a backup Gideon in Nathan Allen's hand, too. The Planeswalkers are starting to take over this game. Prairie Stream was the draw. Both Planeswalkers can be cast this turn. Taking a bit of a Super Friends approach. Five mana. There's Obnixilis Reignited making its debut. Bye-bye Death Misraptor. And now Gideon.
This is
This is
not quite Elspeth, but this is a sea of Planeswalkers that's very good at managing the board.
they're doing. If Majors draws a morph, if he draws a Den Protector and he just did cast a morph, he's actually in a weird way doing okay.
Yeah, his head's still above water. Another issue here is that Alan also just has these shambling vents we haven't even talked about yet.
Oh, sure.
So when he's he has blockers for his Planeswalkers, and when he's ready to go on the offensive, he has more threats in play than it looks like.
Now, one thing Alan did forget to do was last turn use Sorin.
Yes.
That's one Planeswalker he forgot to use. So now the Planeswalkers are going to start going active. So Sorin moves up to 3. All the creatures are going to get +0/+1 in lifelink until the end of next turn. Obnixilis is going to move up. Gideon's going to move up. Obnixilis will make Alan lose a life, but he'll get to draw a card. I believe Clash of Wills was the draw.
I think Obnixilis should have been the first order of business this turn. Not that it really matters, but Alan is definitely going to plus, and whatever you draw could change what you want to do with your Planeswalkers.
Majors will unmegamorph Death Misraptor. That'll trigger, bring back more Death Misraptors. Looks like 1 up, 1 down.
And with all this mana, Majors can manage the board for a very long time like this.
Mm-hmm. Now, don't forget, those creatures that Alan do have lifelink. And we can't forget about the shambling fence, as you mentioned. But this one's not over just yet.
Majors can defend himself for a very long time like this because he can get the Death Misraptor back, he can set one of them down, that allows him to chump block a creature, get that back, rinse and repeat. Now that this puts Majors in a winning position, Alan gains a lot of life while all this is happening. He's taking up several Planeswalkers. So it's not like Majors is suddenly out ahead, but he can at least protect himself for a little while here.
Here's a Jace. Nathan Allen wants more Planeswalkers. 11-6 is the score.
I mean, I believe Majors just drew a Nissa.
All right.
That's a lot. It's more stuff to work with.
Yeah? Oh, weird game we've worked ourselves into.
And Majors looked beat here at several spots, but he's drawn enough of these types of cards that allow green-white aggro to hang around in later game situations. The Morph Engine's very, very good with Death Misraptor. This is also quite powerful in this spot.
He's thinking about sending them all in. Now, where they're going is a better question.
Yep.
Because that's a lot of choices here for Michael on what to attack.
I would say the priorities feel like, yes, I like this attack from Michael. It's choose between, Alan here gets the option of either protecting Obnixilis or Gideon. Both of those Planeswalkers seem better to me right now than Sorin, so attack accordingly.
Tough decision here for Nathan.
He can also let them both go and then just use Jace to flashback Languish and keep a Sorin in play. He doesn't have to necessarily fight this fight.
That's true. That's true. Jace, draw, discard, flip, all that jazz.
You still have Jace and Sorin against no board. That's not a bad spot either.
I've seen worse spots. Still plenty of Planeswalkers.
The board's clear. You can start going on offense with your Shambling Vents.
It's an interesting situation. Yeah, Shambling Vents, we can't forget those are down there because they haven't been used this game, but that's a way to win.
Yeah.
So damage is dealt. Gideon's going to fall down. Obnixil is going to bite the dust. And now here's Nissa. Does Matrix have a land to search up? I'm assuming the answer is yes, but it's not safe to assume. He has 6 forests? Okay, looks like he has a forest to search up.
6 forests.
Okay. So he will search up a forest. Nissa Vastwitz is going to transform. Now the question, of course, is how does Majors want to use Nissa Sage Animist? Pretty easy to say just make a 4/4, but there are some big draws available too.
Absolutely. I think that he has to make a 4/4 because he just dies on the way back if he does not.
I think that you are correct. I think he is forced to make a 4/4 here. So he will make a 4/4 green elemental creature.
And in fact, I think he's still, if there are 2 Shambling Vents down in the ability to activate them, between Gideon and the Sorin, I think Majors may just be dead on the way back.
Well, I suppose the hope now is that your opponent doesn't see that. Maybe the attention is elsewhere.
If there's 2, this assumes there's 2 Shambling Vents down and the mana to activate them.
Yep.
But you animate 2, you plus Sorin, now they're 3 power. You have your Gideon still eligible to attack. The best thing to block is Gideon.
You animate Gideon first too, before the Sorin activation. Can't forget about that.
Well, Gideon's lethal either way. Doesn't assuming there's 2 Shambling Vents in the equation as well.
Well, Gideon's only. I'm saying you have to activate Gideon first and then activate Sorin because it's only a 5-power creature.
It doesn't really matter because it's 3 attackers against 1 blocker.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
okay, I gotcha.
As long as he animates the lands and then does it, it's fine.
Okay.
Purely on a technical level, you're absolutely correct, but it's not necessary.
There's a potential, because I believe there are 2 Shambling Vents down there and the necessary mana activated. Maybe just Nathan misses this because there's so much that's been going on in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Sunken Hollow and a Swamp.
We've never seen him activate the vents, but now he's firing them up.
He's spraying his mana out, and Matrix is on no cards in hand.
Yep.
So this is just, does Alan have it, or does Alan see it or not?
And there's also the question is, did Michael see this? Because again, the vent had never been activated.
Yeah.
So Michael got really aggressive on the last turn, and maybe he was supposed to hold back a little bit.
Although, this is still all got to be set up right.
Here's the attack. So the sequencing has to be done correctly because you have to activate the vents
lands first, right?
And then plus the Sorin, not the other way around. And I think that's exactly what Michael's pointing out to Nathan, which is you did it backwards.
Now, Majors is still not out of this just yet. He's got to answer to, whoa.
Doesn't appear to be a lethal attack on Michael's side, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, I think Alan looks like he's just frustrated and conceding here, but that game was by no means over. Majors has, Alan gains 4 life from the lifelink on the vents. So he's not taking lethal on the way back.
We'll get confirmation. It looks like it does go to Michael Majors. Looks like Nathan conceded that game, and as you mentioned, conceded it too early because he's still alive there.
Yeah, he's still playing, and I actually don't even know if Majors is a favorite in that spot.
I don't think that Michael's a favorite in that spot. He's got 2 active Planeswalkers. He's got no cards in hand. Yeah, he's got a Nissa that can go to work a little bit there, but that was a frustration concession.
Certainly, yeah, of course. I mean, and Majors left himself dead on the table, dared Alan to find the line. Alan knew the stuff he had to do, just did it in the wrong order, and that's why you play it out in spots like that. Majors was dead on board, did not concede, and was able to pick up the first game.
Well, Michael Majors does win game number 1 here over Nathan Allen. Greenwood aggro up a game here over Esper Control. We'll take a look at the sideboard here for Nathan. You'll find 3 Arashan Clerics, 2 Radiant Purge, 2 Duress, 2 Dispel, 2 Stasis Snare, 2 Complete Disregard. Probably a pretty good card in this matchup. An Ultimate Price and a Negate.
Yeah, I'm definitely down with, I think Ultimate Price is okay, the Complete Disregards are okay, and I can get behind Stasis Snare as well.
Some good options.
Yeah, good cards here.
What do we see here from Michael?
2 Silk Wrap, 3 Arashan Cleric, 2 Whisperwood Elemental, 3 Evolutionary Leap, Mastery Unseen, Radiant Purge, Valorous Stance, 2 copies of Tragic Arrogance. I really like Mastery the Unseen a lot in this matchup, Whisperwood Elemental, and Evolutionary Leap. This is the plan that Kibler had for this deck against control strategies. Would you have Evolutionary Leap alongside Deathmist Raptor and especially Hangerback Walker, and you can invalidate spot removal. You can always find the threats you're looking for because you get so many looks at it. It's a really powerful card to have against control decks.
Well, these players will shuffle up here for game number 2. Nathan Allen will be on the play, and we'll take a look here at our Season 4 schedule on the Open Series. We're in Atlanta next weekend for some more standard action, and for some, that's actually even a more fun tournament than this one because at least they'll have a metagame to base their decisions off of.
You'll be doing more than guessing, which is what a lot of players in this room are doing. We're going to be taking a week off. After that, we go to St. Louis for a Legacy Open, Modern in Dallas, a Standard Open Series event back in Philadelphia. After that, a Seal Grand Prix in Atlanta, November 13th through 15th. More information about that event later on the show here. A Standard Open Series in Kansas City, Legacy in New Jersey, a Standard in Denver to begin December, then the Season 4 Invitational in Las Vegas, Nevada. Standard and Modern as the invitational formats with a 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series event, December 11th through the 13th. And then a week after that, the Players' Championship, Roanoke, Virginia, Star City Games headquarters, December 19th and 20th to close out the year.
For all of the main events on the Open Series during Season 4, you'll get the Hop-In Rabbit Master playmat. Given the beatdowns are the bunnies. Pretty simple stuff. You sign up for the main event, you get one of these. Not a lot to say, really.
Free, on site. We hand it to you when you register. Don't have to sign up within the first X people. We don't mail it to you after the fact. Just get it for free and at the Open Series events through the Open in Denver to begin December.
That's our first time in Denver in a handful of years as well.
I believe 2013 was the last time we were there.
Looking forward to going back there. So that takes a look at season number 4. And now we get ready here for game number 2 between Nathan Allen and Michael Majors. A hasty concession there, unfortunately, for Nathan. A little bit of frustration, but more games to be played.
Yes.
Time will become a factor, however. That first game did take quite a while.
Yeah. And green-white is not the fastest deck. I mean, I know it's an aggressive deck. It's got Warden in the first tree, and it's trying to beat down. But it can settle in and hang around in longer games against control decks, and it can go on for quite a while.
Well, Allen will be on the play here. I like what this Esper deck is up to. Pretty tap-outy. There are some counter spells here, as we did see, but a pretty tap-out deck. A lot of power level on the deck with Opnixilus and Gideon. Didn't see Narset show up that game, but I imagine it would have been pretty powerful there as well.
My only concern with this build of Esper is I think that Allen is demanding a lot of his mana base. Like I said, double blue, double black, double white, and the blue and black cards need to be online fairly early on in the game. Scatter the Winds and Ruinous Path. But the power level's quite high.
Canopy Vista is the land that Michael searched up there with the Flooded Strand. Now he's got a Hangerback Walker. Blighted Steppe was the land for the turn. Another new one.
Little one up there, help out the beatdown matchups a little bit.
You want to find out the card's good, got to play with it. One card we know is good, however, is Jace. And that'll be active here for Nathan Allen.
These Blighted lands, they're all pretty attractive. Just the issue is, are there decks with mana bases that can handle them?
You were paying a real cost to play these cards.
Yep.
That's no joke. Here's a Den Protector face up. Looks as though Majors does not have another land to play. We'll see if Allen wants to Clash of Wills this or not. Jace going to go active. Time to draw and discard for Nathan. And discard a copy of Ruinous Path. And now he'll pass the turn back without a land to play.
Surprising with Ojutai's command in hand that Allen would not want to make an attack. I guess this way he saves himself a point because the Hangerback Walker can't attack.
Sure. 2 damage going to come across with the Den Protector. Allen will fall down to 18. He'll sacrifice Polluted Delta, it appears. Fall down to 17. We'll see what land Nathan wants to search up. Major's content with just holding back, not playing a spell.
He's also got Dromoka's Command in hand, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's assuming Allen's got a counter spell, so if he just tries to resolve something on his own turn, likely to just get countered. And if Allen taps low for something, gets a little sloppy, he has an opportunity to use Dromoka's Command to fight Jace, presumably grow the Hangerback Walker, and that's a very good setup.
Jace activation. Keep in mind what land Allen searched up there. Went with Sunken Hollow instead of a card like Prairie Stream. So no white mana right now. That does give him double black, however, for a card like Language. Now he's discarding Ochidai's Command. While Jace is still tapped. Looks like we're going to see Dromoka's Command on the upkeep.
I think this is at the end of Major's own turn.
Yeah, it's a little unclear. And it's going to be on the upkeep. Complete Disregard will take care of the Den Protector in response to that Dromoka's Command. A new one. Exile target creature with power 3 or less.
Another reasonable card to put in your deck if you're trying to fight Hangerback Walker.
Yep.
Kills Mantis Rider on curve.
Which is super important. Even though we haven't seen Mantis Rider yet this weekend, that's super important.
Matter of time.
Yeah. It seems like to many the best creature in the format. Jace is flipping now. Got to slow down Hangerback Walker. Now, Majors did make that exchange knowing that, all right, my spell doesn't work out, but now I've got a window to resolve something, so he gets the opportunity to resolve Nissa.
Solid turn here for Majors. Gets to get a threat into play, get a land.
Charge up Hangerback Walker, pass the turn back.
Yeah, very nice turn.
I think it's a good turn for both players, honestly. Nathan got to flip his Jace, got to kill Den Protector and counter Dromoka's Command. A lot of positives on both sides to work our way into the mid-game.
But Allen still feels like he's in control of this one. He has the opportunity right now to use Utter End. He can take care of the Hangerback Walker plus Jace, suppress Nissa.
Just going to pass the turn back right now, however. Looks like some counter magic available. Does have a copy of Languish in hand. Utter End will take care of the Hangerback Walker. Now it's time for Wishbolt Elemental. Now here's a card not many have talked about. Don't want to forget about how great this card was. It's not going to be great. It'll be fine right now, but I mean, this card was a premier threat.
Yeah, it'll be around for sure. The concern is just you don't have these Nykthos decks anymore, and you've lost some of the premier mana acceleration for creatures. So you got to play Whisperwood Elemental much more as a turn 4 or turn 5 play than you did in the previous standard format. Is this card fast enough when that's the case?
Whisperwood going to be sacrificed in response to Languish. 1 Manifest. And Jace is going to tick up, slow down the Manifest. Majors will draw. Allen having some mana issues this game as well. But that just means his hand is all spells. Flooded Strand will be sacrificed here by Michael. Fall down to 18. See what land he wants to search up.
Imagine you can't be Vista, gets it into play untapped.
Yep, plenty of basics. Languish helping to stabilize the board here. Great answer to Whispered Elemental. It always has been.
He's got another one he's got one in the graveyard, so he can flash it back as well.
Here's a morph. Well, you think about it with this deck. There's an evolutionary leap.
And this is the setup here. You use this and you can power through a lot of removal spells. Especially good in conjunction with Hangerback Walker.
Yeah. I was going to say, you think about it, you know, what Major's deck actually is, it's kind of like a green-white morph deck, really.
Yes, there's a huge morph element to this deck. And, you know, a lot of those morphs, Den Protector and Death Misraptor, they help you play these long, protracted games against more powerful decks. And Evolutionary Leap is another piece for that sort of puzzle. when you have Evolutionary Leap in play, your opponent's 1-for-1 removal does not look very good for them.
No, it actually looks quite poor. And even a card like Languish, which is fine now, it's not great.
Yeah.
It'll probably have to be cast to clean up the board, but now you get to activate Evolutionary Leap, sacrifice. It was a Death Miss Raptor. So turn over a couple of cards, Warden of the First Tree. That'll go to the grip. The Manifest was a forest. Again, one of the things that we kind of forget as a community, you know, there's so much focus on the new cards. Evolutionary Leap was a card that many were excited about upon its release and its reveal, and it's having an impact in this game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Alan still may have he's got so much power in his hand, multiple card drawing spells, and Jace has not been checked in a while, a lot of removal spells to flash back. Alan may be able to power through this, and it may be as simple as him flashing back in Utter Ed, taking care of the Evolutionary Leap, and then beating Majors with a little more sweeper. But for as poorly, again, as a lot of these turns have gone for Majors, he's not out of the game just yet, and it's a function of having all these green cards that allow him to hang around against decks with what appear to be better late games.
Here's Nissa. Search for a forest. That'll be flipping now. 6 lands on the battlefield. Forest is land number 7. Wow, the resiliency of this aggro deck is really impressive.
But with Nathan at 17, depending on what his hand looks like, if Majors is trying to play this, all right, I'm going to grind you down, grind you down, grind you down, depending on what Alan's hand looks like, he might make an emblem with Jace and just try to race him down that way.
Try to go that route?
Wouldn't rule it out. I don't think it's likely, but depending on what Alan's hands look like, it could be attractive.
Shambling Vent to the draw there for Alan. He's got that Jace over there at 9. And as we see in his hand, quite a few good ones. A couple cops of Dig Through Time. Clash of Wills doesn't appear as though it's going to play a huge role in things. It just hasn't lined up well this game. He's been tapping out a lot. Major's been picking his spots. There might be a point where it does something. Scatter the Winds also, I believe, in hand here for Nathan.
Now, the problem that Alan has right now, if he goes, let's flash back Utter Ed and get rid of Evolutionary Leap, at that point, he's taking a big hit on the way back. He loses Jace. If he tries to manage the board like this, Evolutionary Leap is just chewing him up.
Yep. Going to flash back Languish, but Evolutionary Leap's going to get to work right now. So, going to sacrifice the Warden of the First Tree. Den Protector that's pretty good.
It's more of the same.
Yep.
You know?
These will go to the bottom. Sacrifice the token. Let's see what this one finds. Hangerback Walker. Resilient Threats. Still has an Issa on the battlefield.
And Hangerback Walker is so good with Evolutionary Leap, and also a way for Majors to threaten this Jace. Part of the problem is that Majors has been in these spots over and over again where, you know, he has one creature in play and Jace is preventing it from doing anything. Now with Hangerback Walker, he breaks that open. Has a lot to work with.
Then the Leap really gets going.
Yep. You can start really threatening that Jace.
Den Protector, Hangerback Walker just on 1. Not expecting a lot out of the artifact creature.
Well, I think Majors is saying, well, you know what? I can unmorph the Den Protector. If you have a spot removal spell or a sweeper, I can sack both of these to Evolutionary Leap or get back something and sacrifice the Hangerback Walker. He is just wearing Alan down. And, you know, in both of these games, Alan's gotten to do the control stuff his deck does. He's gotten to spots where Majors is not attacking. Alan's at 17 or 18 life points. He's got a Jace in play. Dig Through Time's in his hand. Plenty of stuff to do, but these odd interlocking pieces are allowing Majors to hang around.
He's going to flashback Languish again. I have a feeling Michael Majors will have a response. So Evolutionary Leap is going to be used here. Going to get back Warden of the First Tree. Den Protector returned Whisperwood Elemental. And now Hangerback Walker is going to die. Thopter Token will come onto the battlefield. So Languish is done resolving. And now just going to pass the turn back. Major's going to try to continue to grind him down. Start by ticking up Nissa. Death Miss Raptor will go to the grip. There's a Forest. There's Whisperwood Elemental. I'm talking about resiliency. My goodness.
Yeah. Majors is doing an incredible job here of just being able to beat these one-for-one removal spells, sweepers. It's possible Allen needed to take a turn off there and get the leap off the table when he had a window to do so. It would have been a big cost in other directions, but it's clear that him flashing back even languishes are not allowing him to keep up with the setup that Majors has.
Not at all. Majors is continuously just building a board. You sweep away my stuff? Okay, that's fine. I can build a board again and again and again.
It feels, every single turn you see Allen shaking his hand here. Allen goes, kill everything you have, and Majors goes, here's 4 more threats. Just turn after turn. And with Evolutionary Leap, because it can only hit creatures, you're activating it several times, you're just getting back Den Protector or Hangerback Walker at some point. You just hit those cards. Those yield back Den Protectors and Hangerback Walkers in the graveyard. So it's a really powerful engine.
Just get to keep the chain going. Here's Salumgar, the Drifting Death, which is a pretty good card, but it's something that at least it feels like Majors can work his way around.
Yeah. I mean, Majors is not that saturated on one-toughness creatures right now.
And you think of the way this game is played out, Nathan Allen has had Dig Through Time in his hand for a very long time. He's never got to even cast it. Gonna unmorph Den Protector. Get back Death Miss Raptor.
Death Miss Raptor is very good here in the face of Slumgar. Good attacker. Death Touch at a premium right now for Majors.
Yep. Nissa going up. Hangerback Walker. It never stops. Let's see what this is.
And
oh boy.
And Gideon is so nice here because Gideon make an emblem means Slumguard does nothing.
Yeah.
You're not locking up anything now.
You can cash that in right away and make an emblem.
This has been a real performance from Majors here in Game 2 and what this deck is capable of. Game 1, you can say, there were some pretty big missteps there from Allen to not get that one. Here it looked, from where I was sitting, like Allen had firm control of the game. A Jace unchecked for a bunch of turns.
We're talking the entire game, almost, that Jace has been unchecked. There's been so much conversation coming into this weekend, right, about all the things you can do with your mana. I'm very impressed by the 2-color decks I've seen so far this weekend. Yeah, Jace down. Here's Hangerback Walker. That'll be a 2-2, technically a 3-3 because of the Gideon emblem. Whisper Elemental is going to get to make a token, manifest. I have no idea how Nathan's going to get him out of this situation. I don't even know if a card exists.
Major still has 4 cards in his hand.
Yeah, Evolutionary Leap. Whisper Elemental in case there's a sweeper, even though Whisper Elemental is a 5/5 now. So Languish doesn't even do very much. Nathan got to search a Prairie Stream with the Flooded Strand, but I'm befuddled. I don't know how he gets himself out of this.
Yeah.
And all this from a green-white deck.
I remember I was watching one of Kibler's matches at the Grand Prix in San Diego, where he was playing against a Devotion guy who got to do Devotion things, and Kibler just had him covered in all these weird backdoor ways with like Tragic Arrogance and Hidden Dragon Slayer. And, there's a lot going on here, even though it just looks like a pile of green-white creatures.
Yeah, that's not the truth. It's a lot more than that.
Also, Blighted Step means that it's very hard for Allen to race at this point as well. Major just has gained 24 down there at a moment's notice.
Yep. Here come all the morons into the red zone, or at least most of them. Doctor Token's a 2-2. Death Miss Raptors are 4/4s. Whisper Elemental's a 5/5. The Manifest is at least a 3/3, potentially more. You can see Nathan Allen's hand is mostly reactive at this point. It looks like he's going to dig. See if he can find some action here.
But there's just no way for him to clean this up in 1 or 2 cards.
No, I mean, you need a card here. Like, I'm thinking of, unique cards like Ugin or something like that, that gets you out of the situation, but he doesn't have an Ugin in his 75.
And even Ugin, there's Hangerback Walker and Morphs down there.
Yeah, Manifests and stuff, so that's not going to do it.
And I think Allen's just tapping. I mean, the game could have gone on here for a little bit longer, maybe, but I just don't think he wants to play on.
Michael say I can do this all day.
Yeah.
I can keep this wave of creatures coming. There's no way for you to get out of this. So Michael Major's going to win this match over Nathan Allen, 2-0. Green-white aggro, taking down Esper Control, but it was the green-white deck that kind of felt more like a mid-range and control deck at times.
And you can see also why Elspeth was such a problem for this green-white deck.
Oh.